Why do we care so much about money? It's not about getting rich or chasing some lavish lifestyle. For most of us, the real power of finance is what it protects. It's about reducing how vulnerable we feel and making life just a little more manageable. The importance of money shows up less in our ambitions and more in that feeling of relief. Relief when the bills are paid on time. Relief when a sudden emergency, like a car repair, doesn't completely derail your life. Relief when you can actually plan for tomorrow because it feels predictable. We often call finance practical, but its true impact is psychological. Think of money as a buffer between you and all the uncertainties of the world. When that buffer is strong, you can move through life with more confidence and ease. But when it's thin, every little thing feels heavier. A small problem can take up all your mental space. Every decision feels risky, and stress becomes this constant background noise that never quite goes away. This is why our finances have such a huge impact on our behavior. It affects our sleep, our focus, our relationships, and our self-confidence. We don't just react to what we have. We react to what we're afraid of losing. That fear changes how we act, how cautious we become, and how much of our emotional energy is consumed by money. In our daily lives, finance quietly decides what feels possible. It determines whether you feel free enough to leave a job you hate, take some time off to recharge, move to a new city, or simply say no to something you don't want to do. Even if you never make those moves, just knowing you have the option matters. Having that choice gives you a sense of control over your own life. This becomes especially clear during moments of intense stress, like an illness or a job loss. In those times, money isn't about comfort. It's about survival. How you get through those moments sticks with you and shapes your financial habits for years to come. Ultimately, finance doesn't solve all of life's problems, but it completely changes how we experience them. With a financial cushion, a problem can feel temporary and manageable. Without it, that same problem can feel like it defines your entire life. It's not about accumulation. It's about the quiet sense of safety it provides when life, inevitably, doesn't go as planned. Have you ever noticed how your financial situation changes the way you feel about time? I'm not talking about clock time, but your life's timeline. It quietly influences whether you feel like you're ahead of the game, falling behind, or just barely treading water. This feeling is powerful. It shapes your motivation, your patience, and even your belief in yourself. When your finances feel stable, time seems to stretch out before you, full of possibility. You start imagining years ahead, making plans that go way beyond just paying the next bill. You give yourself permission to dream about growth, learning new things, and making big changes. But when money is tight, that sense of time shrinks. Your focus narrows to just getting through the next week, the next month, or weathering the next unexpected expense. This isn't about being irresponsible. It's a state of cognitive overload. Your brain is so busy with immediate worries that long-term goals just don't feel as important. The real power of finance is its ability to reduce that mental burden. Having a predictable income and a handle on your expenses frees up your mind. When you're not constantly on high alert for the next financial hit, you can think more clearly and make decisions with less fear and more intention. It's not just about the money in your account. It's about gaining mental clarity. This also ties into patience. When you believe that progress is possible, you're more willing to wait for a payoff. You can invest your time and effort without needing an immediate reward. But when that belief fades, patience wears thin. You start looking for quick fixes, even if they might cost you more in the long run. Financial experiences also leave a lasting emotional imprint. A period of instability can change how you view money forever. Even after your situation improves, you might find yourself being extra cautious. Not because you have to, but because you remember how fragile everything once felt. These are lessons that stick with us. In our culture, this often comes up around major life milestones like education, bouging a home, starting a family, or retiring. When your finances line up with what's expected, you feel like you're on track. If they don't, you can feel left behind, even if you're doing just fine objectively. This stress can also be social, causing us to withdraw from friends and family, while financial stability allows us to be more present and connected. Ultimately, your financial state shapes your confidence not in the market, but in yourself. When you feel financially capable, you trust your own judgment. When you feel strained, you second-guess everything. This self-doubt can be more limiting than any lack of money. So, finance is deeply important because it sets the emotional stage for your life's biggest decisions. It colors how you see risk, how you perceive time, and how you imagine your own future. It's never just about the numbers. Did you know your finances shape more than just your bank account? They actually influence how secure you feel every single day. I'm not talking about security in some abstract way, but that deep down feeling of whether your life is stable or just one surprise bill away from falling apart. This feeling affects so many of our choices, even when we're not consciously thinking about money. When you feel financially secure, you tend to stand a little taller, don't you? You speak with more confidence. You're more willing to negotiate for what you want and express your needs. But when that security feels shaky, we often shrink back. We might avoid conflict or accept less than we deserve, because pushing for more feels too risky. This brings us to how we perceive risk. Risk isn't just an objective number on a spreadsheet. It's a feeling. A decision that seems manageable to one person can feel terrifying to another, all depending on how solid their financial foundation is. This is a big reason why so much financial advice doesn't stick. What sounds perfectly reasonable on paper can feel absolutely reckless in real life. Financial security also changes our definition of enough. For some, enough means comfort and growth. But for others, especially those who faced instability, enough simply means safety. They aren't chasing wealth out of greed. They're building buffers for protection. Think extra savings, extra hours at work, extra caution with every decision. It's a survival strategy. There's also a powerful link between finance and dignity. Being able to solve a problem, like a car repair, without having to ask for help, preserves a deep sense of self-respect. When money makes that possible, our dignity feels intact. When it doesn't, it can lead to feelings of shame, even if the situation is completely out of our control. This is why talking about money can be so hard. Protecting our dignity often feels more important than sharing our stress. And what about freedom? We often think of freedom as having endless choices, but sometimes the greatest freedom is simply not having to worry. It's not checking your bank balance 10 times a day. It's not constantly bracing for the next financial hit. When your finances are in order, it quiets the mental noise, and that alone can make you feel incredibly free. Over time, constant financial stress changes us. We might become more efficient and careful, but also more tired and less curious. We stick to what works and avoid anything that could disrupt our fragile stability. It helps us survive, but it can also quietly make our world smaller. Ultimately, understanding the true importance of finance means looking beyond just spending and saving. It's about recognizing how money shapes our sense of safety, our dignity, our freedom, and even our trust in the world around us. These emotional currents are what give finance its immense power in our everyday lives. Why does money seem to control so much of our lives? It's not just about buying things. It's about having a sense of control over your own life. In our complex world, money is one of the main tools that gives us a feeling of agency. When that feeling gets weaker, frustration is never far behind. For money, whose control is measured by flexibility. It's the ability to handle a surprise car repair without panicking. It's the option to take a few days off when you really need it. It's the freedom to walk away from a toxic job. Your financial situation is what makes these options possible. When you have some financial breathing room, you feel like you're in the driver's seat. But when you don't, it feels like life is just happening to you, and all your decisions are made out of necessity, not choice. This feeling of control changes everything about how we act. People who feel in control are more likely to think through their decisions carefully. They weigh the pros and cons. They reflect. On the other hand, people who feel like they've lost control often rush into decisions or avoid them completely. It's not random. It's a way of trying to get some balance back when you're under pressure. Our financial cushion also changes how we deal with mistakes. If you have some savings, a mistake feels like a lesson you can recover from. You learn, you adjust, and you move on. But when money is tight, a single mistake can feel like a life sentence. The fear of getting it wrong skyrockets. People become overly cautious, not because they lack confidence, but because the cost of being wrong is just too high. There's also a deep emotional link between money and our sense of self. Being able to pay your bills and stand on your own 2 feet is a huge part of how many of us see ourselves. When money supports that independence, we feel capable and strong. When it doesn't, we can feel exposed and trapped. even if family and friends are there to help. Think about how we trade our time for money. The emotional value of that time shifts dramatically with financial pressure. When money is tight, every hour not working feels expensive. When you're financially stable, your free time feels incredibly valuable for rest and relationships. This pressure can blur our priorities over time. We focus on just keeping the lights on, not on what actually makes life meaningful. We put off rest, delay doctor's appointments, and tell ourselves we'll get to it later. It's not about being irresponsible. It's a survival mechanism. This all starts when we're young. Kids watch how the adults in their lives handle money stress. They learn whether money problems are talked about openly or hidden away. These early lessons shape their own financial habits for the rest of their lives, long before any school teaches them about budgeting. Ultimately, finance matters because it gives us a sense of direction. It gives context to all our hard work. When that sense of direction is missing, we can still function, but there's a constant tension under the surface. Money isn't just a resource. It's a signal about our control, our resilience, and our ability to shape our own lives. Why does finance matter so much? It's not just about numbers and budgets. It's about how we imagine our future selves. It quietly draws the emotional outline of our lives. Whether we expect stability or struggle, whether we believe things will get easier or stay tight. These feelings shape our daily actions long before we ever make a 5-year plan. When we believe the future will reward our hard work, we invest more of ourselves today. We push through uncertainty and accept trade-offs, trusting that they're leading somewhere better. But when that belief fades, we shift our focus from building momentum to just maintaining what we have. This is the real power of finance. It's a belief loop. The financial system sends us signals, telling us if progress is even possible. When those signals are consistent and positive, we build stories of improvement for ourselves. But when they're erratic, we pull back. We become cautious. We stop assuming tomorrow will be better and start preparing for it to be the same, or even worse. Our optimism becomes measured, and our hope becomes conditional. Think about it. Our finances are deeply connected to our identity. We all want to see ourselves as capable, responsible, and growing. When our financial life supports that vision, our confidence grows. But when it doesn't, we can feel stuck, living a life we never expected. This feeling, this dissonance, subtly drains our motivation and Finance also shapes how we think about our later years, about aging, rest, and slowing down. The ability to imagine a future with less financial strain brings a sense of comfort, even decades in advance. Without that, the future can feel like something we have to endure, not something to look forward to. In our culture, finance is often the language we use to talk about success and failure. But underneath that language are raw emotions: relief, fear, pride, and exhaustion. Finance doesn't create these feelings, but it definitely gives them weight, amplifying or softening them over time. Most of us aren't trying to perfectly optimize our money. We're just trying to find a sustainable rhythm for our lives, one that feels stable, not constantly under threat. So, understanding why finance matters means seeing it as an emotional infrastructure. It supports our confidence when it's working and drains it when it's not. It shapes how we view our own efforts and how much faith we place in the days to come. Ultimately, finance is important because it influences our belief. Belief that our efforts today connect to a better tomorrow. Belief that we can recover from setbacks. That belief, more than any number on a spreadsheet, is what truly drives us. Thanks for watching.